All right, guys, we're live. Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to all at MESC Red Devils NCR. This is Delvin, and I have Ojas Bhai with me on the stream. Ojas Bhai, warm welcome to you. Hope you're doing well. So, Ojas Bhai, to start things off, important game going on right now before we play as well. Newcastle United currently are facing off against Arsenal at St James's Park, and currently Newcastle are trailing by a goal to nil. Odegaard has scored the goal, which has been the difference between the sides so far. And a loss to Newcastle means that we have a golden opportunity to leapfrog them at the top of the table, if provided we beat West Ham in our game. So, Ojas by provided, let's assume the fact that if Newcastle do end up losing it from here, how important does this game become at, irrespective of the fact whatever the result is? Do you believe that this game still is important, or it will assume a lot more importance provided Newcastle do end up losing the game?
See, I have a very different perspective than a lot of people on Twitter, you and everyone, that if you are in top four and not winning the title, it doesn't matter you come second, third, or fourth, because all the teams are going to Champions League. I have this mindset that you have to secure the top four, irrespective of what happens in the Newcastle result. I want us to win because I want us to secure the fourth, I think the top four that we are into, because Champions League football is the real game of modern or whatever stage of football that we are playing in. And for Manchester United, it is very important to be in Champions League, as a very important summer is coming for us, because a lot of players will be leaving and lot of, I hope so, lot of recruitments will happen. So Champions League is really the face of the true football, along with Premier League, which we already are. We already are a big club, but just being in the Champions League adds extra value to that.
Yeah, I mean absolutely, especially at a time where it is believed that we will automatically undergo the next stage in our transition as a football club. So yeah, like you said, Champions League qualification remains a must, and it is imperative. But before we get a little ahead of discussing the game, the United West Ham game, a little disclosure on United, a little appreciation to the United women's team. The United women's team ended up beating the Spurs women's team today 3-0. And for the solid, for now, have a top spot, but there is the making of a title race going on there, because currently Chelsea women's team have 3 games left in hand, and it would be a very crucial point, provided if Chelsea do end up dropping points in any one of the games, then United do have the upper hand. So we hope that our United women's team makes us proud, considering the fact that it has been only 5 years since the club has been formed. This is a massive step forward in the progression of the club and in the progression of Man United women's team. After what was portrayed in the initial stages of its conception, where there were a lot of issues in the internal workings and the structure. And considering all that, the fact that we are on top of the table just goes to show how we have grown from strength to strength. So kudos to our women's team, and we are behind them, hoping that they end up winning the Women's Super League, as well as the FA Women's Cup final, where they will be facing Chelsea. So coming back into the game, everyone knows how unfortunate we were in the loss against Brighton, but West Ham also ended up losing their game to Man City, and for some point they did give a good account of themselves, but it proved a little too less compared to the juggernaut that City have been throughout the course of this recent past few games. So, what are your opinions on this West Ham side, and what do you think about it?
I think it's a pretty solid side for me. Whatever happened in the Manchester City game, you really don't want to face Manchester City at this time of the season. They are really just going full throttle, and they will leave nothing, absolutely no opportunity to for Arsenal to have a comeback. So they are in like they are already, I think, they have the title in their bags, and the way they were playing, as soon as they get the first goal, City just just somehow they start playing even better. Usually, you see teams after first goal they settle down in the game. They just keep getting better with every goal. So it's very dangerous with Manchester City, and irrespective of how you play, what team you are, if you are facing Man City at this time of the season, you have to be like 200%, not 100%, 200%. And whatever I've seen of West Ham in past couple of weeks, I guess they we are in a similar situation that we players have the quality, manager has an idea, but unfortunately the execution is a issue with both the teams, and it's like two teams meeting that don't have the right form going into the game, and it is now the test of mentality. The players that will have the better mentality will go through. It can be a dull draw also. I hope it's not. But if when two teams meet like this who have been lost of form for past couple of weeks, usually the mentality kicks in, like a Bruno goal or something like that. Someone just stepping up.
We also have Abhijit Bhai on the stream with us. Abhijit Bhai, welcome. No matter you're late, there is still a lot of time where we can discuss a lot of things. So Abhijit Bhai, I and Ojas Bhai were just speaking about how Newcastle's potential loss. They're currently 1-0 behind in the game against Arsenal. So how Newcastle's potential loss means that getting the 3 points today becomes much more crucial and much more important. Apart from that, also 3 points are must, as Amit Bhai and Kushagra have said in the comments. Even Kshitij in his statement has said that with the team exhausted, 3 points are a must. And with Jehan, welcome to the stream. After a while, it's been a long time, so good to have you back. So Jehan says absolutely no excuses today. Need a win by any cost. If Arsenal win, we go third and eases a lot of pressure from us. So Abhijit bhai, what is your opinion on provided we win today? Does that actually release pressure on us to get a result in the next few games? Or do you think that the need for a result will remain the same irrespective of the victory? What are your thoughts on this?
See, first of all, you have to see that West Ham are in a comfortable position. They are not in the relegation zone actually. So, you provided that they will be in a very comfortable position and they will play with very open-minded and very easily because, and also you see this is the last business end of a month of a Premier League, and team and you have and United has to keep the perspective that we need to face Manchester City in last FA Cup final, and these are the matches where you need to build the momentum. Actually, if you take that momentum one by game a game, then you can provide the confidence that you can beat Manchester City. If you look at the way we beat City, the same form we took the momentum, and the way we transformed it in that game, we ended up winning, despite we were 1-0 down for that game. So if you keep this moment, if you win this game, you start gaining the momentum and you take that momentum in a game, and you will add the confidence because you see we are very sloppy in this past few 3-4 games. So it will actually, because we know that we know the reality what it is, because we there is also one boost that Varan can be fit in the last month. There is a injury boost for us, so it can be really giving confidence that if Varan comes and you have a leader, team player who can contribute to your defense, then it can morally boost your confidence too. So win today can really put the pressure on Newcastle, because uh, I don't think Newcastle will drop the point, but they have a very tricky fixture because they have to face Brighton, I think, Aston Villa, and I think another, I think one team I don't know, but they have a tricky fixture. But we have some good features because we are playing three games in a home home turf, so it can add boost for us, and this win actually makes you in a driving seat, because whenever we are in a driving seat, we always have a drop point. But looking at the away features, so but West Ham are not in that phase that you can they can challenge us. But yes, they drew against Arsenal, they drew against, I would not say good against Manchester City, but they can be shaky sometimes to the opponent. So I think this win will be a very crucial for us.
Yeah, I mean, like you said about the fixtures, Jihan also said that the good part of our fixture list is that I think all of our fixtures are against teams in the bottom half of the table. So that gives us a little more breathing room, and it helps us to, get things in order and make sure that we win. Another point that Jihan said that, a big boost right now is getting Garnacho fit. So it's already been announced, Roses by that Garnacho is going to be a part of the squad and could potentially play a role in the game against West Ham also. Now, in the past few games that we've seen that the team has become predictable after a certain point of the game. We start off well, but then it's the same story about us not able to take our chances, whether we are playing home or whether playing away. But then there is no one on the bench that Terha can call on to who has a different or a very unpredictable style of play or an unpredictable skill set, which can more or less, go ahead and make a difference. And in that regard, Garnacho is the one who provides us with that X factor, who provides us with that extra quality, that direct running, something which was sorely missing and was very, very. Was something that we needed in many of the games that we dropped points. So, how important is Garnacho's arrival in this side, and how big of a role will that have in the rest of the season also?
Yeah, first of all, I will answer the question in the way you set it up. That why are we getting predictable? And you gave the answer also because we are missing so many chances. I was seeing the game yesterday, Manchester City versus Leeds. There were two good chances provided to Gundogan. He scored one at the left corner, one at the right corner. Leeds, Sam Allardyce noted the point that Gundogan is usually empty on the outer side of the D. You have to have a player there, maybe a CDM or something. In the second half, Leeds were the team that scored. City didn't score one. So this is what happens when we are playing so well in the first 15 minutes. Is the opposition is adjusting to our attack. So when we play well in the first 15 minutes, we are creating many chances. If we don't convert those chances, manager on the other side is not fool. He will understand what team is doing. The team players will understand what the team is doing. Now they will create a barricade, and whatever the attacks were happening, they will stop happening. Eventually the frustration will kick in because you don't have an idea from the bench. You have Vegas is not an idea. Vegas is a liability for Manchester United right now. What we need is someone coming from the bench to change the dynamics of the game. And unfortunately for me, I have to say this already, although I am a big fan, Sancho is also not an aggressive option for Manchester United. He's someone who just settles into the team, and I appreciate his performances week in week out because he's trying hard. But trying hard won't get you to top four. You need results, and for results, you need players. And this is why Garnacho addition for me is very important in this game, of whatever role he plays, because it is completely understood that football is a game that runs for 90 minutes. It's not always a kick in the game or something like that. You have to play for the continuous 90 minutes, being ready and available in the mindset also and physically. And you need players around, you need good substitutions. And for me, Garnacho is one of the good substitutions, provided he doesn't start. I don't know what team Eric will play, but this is something you need from the bench. And I guess Garnacho will have whether he contributes or not. He will just be the added. He will be the trump card for Eric Ten Hag tonight.
Right. So, Ojisbhai, you spoke about the team. The team is out. It's De Gea and goal, Lindelof and Shaw. It's Malacia and Van Bissaka this time who will be our fullbacks and not Dalo. Then it's Bruno, Ericsson and Casemiro, the trio who start and have not lost a fixture together when they have started simultaneously. And the attacking is Anthony, Rashford, and woo, woo, that's the sound of the horse starting instead of Mannequin Martial. So Antariksh, first of all, welcome to the stream. So, Antariksh, I put this question to you. I put two questions to you, but first, what do you think about the lineup? I think one of the reasons why Weghorst has been put in the starting lineup is due to the height that West Ham have in defense and due to the physicality that they possess. So, that is one reason which I believe that Weghorst starts up front. But what are your thoughts on the lineup? Do you think something different could have been done, or are you pretty satisfied with the lineup that is out so far?
Right. Hello, gents. Yeah, the team lineup is out, and I think I'm pretty satisfied, to be honest. I am satisfied. Of course, things could have been shifted up differently, but the inclusion of Weghorst, although does surprise me, but does not disappoint me in a way. I mean, for the majority of the time that he was here, I guess a string of fixtures he was given, and he was given a run in some of the biggest games, some of the toughest games, and I think he kept doing that, and Ten Hag kept giving him chances to play, and he kept playing. So I think there was a reason for that, and I think the reason was that he fit into the Ten Hag system. He even got into a new position and made a new position his, which we never thought he could even be around like at all. So I think, I mean, just on the end of it, when he actually started getting chances to actually score goals, he missed them. He missed quite a few, and hence I think he was by then sort of substituted out of the team because of his lack of sort of striking ability. But I think today that hold up play, that his dropping in deep kind of a thing, and him being in the team and maybe getting the team maybe gets a bit clear chances. And we have seen Rashford, although one could not put it directly, but Rashford has had a very great effect when Weghorst is starting. Rashford's sort of dip in goal tally has sort of coincided with Weghorst not starting. So there could be something there wherein Weghorst drops deep, which probably and he invites players because of his stature, and that probably makes some space for the likes of Rashford to run into. So other than that, it's the trio which I really wanted in the midfield. I'm a bit I don't know, not surprised, but I would have loved to see Dallo. Still, I don't know what's the matter with Dallo. Is he on the bench or not? But Malacia, I don't really fancy Malacia right now.
Because of Bowen. Because of Bowen.
Maybe because of Bowen, but that is where I think I'm not really reliant on Malacia as well. Bowen is a tricky customer, and Malacia just gives me the nerves. He tries to be AWB, he's just not that.
So before you go on any further, Arsenal scored again. It's 2-0. Martinelli has scored, and that's breathing room for Arsenal. And I think
it's an own goal.
Yeah, it is an own goal. Yep. It is an own goal. I think that it is Schär, Fabian Schär.
Yeah.
It's a Fabian Schär own goal. Yeah. So
Curse.
so more added incentive, especially now that so this game. I'm sorry, I'm deviating a little off topic. I'm not going to stretch it a lot, but this game is almost a mirror image of United versus Brighton. Where we were dominating them, but we wouldn't capitalize on our chances. And Newcastle have hit the post, they've hit the right post, and they've also hit the crossbar. That's how unlucky they've been today. They could have easily scored 3 or 4, but it's not to be, and good for us, thank God. So Rohit Bhai says no Maguire. Yes, and you can see the sadness and the heartbreak in Antariksh's face, especially that there is no Maguire in the side. You can see it. I can feel it. So with that being said, Ojas Bhai, there was a striker who West Ham bought early on. That was Skamaka. And up until West Ham signed him, Skamaka was highly rated in Syria, was highly rated in Italian football also. And he was one of those strikers who did a very un-Italian thing before joining West Ham. That is, he started his career outside England. Outside Italy, my bad. He started in Netherlands, came back to Italy, made a name for himself. But there is something about physical strikers and West Ham that doesn't work. West Ham tried this with Andy Carroll, it didn't work. They tried it even with Sebastian Haller, didn't work. And now it's Kamaka, and that's not working either. For some reason, I don't know what, they're still heavily reliant on Michail Antonio, who himself is unreliable at this point and this age and this stage of his career. So what are your thoughts about West Ham's non-handling or the way they have handled Skamaka, because I certainly think that having a striker of the qualities of Haller and Skamaka is something that Moyes is out of his depth at. So, what are your thoughts on these striker problems that West Ham have?
Yeah, I will be completely honest with you. I had never seen Skamaka play before he joined Premier League. There were a few glimpses where I think he will turn out to be a top striker and will be moving into one of the big six clubs of summer of 2023. But unfortunately, right now he's stuck in a West Ham team that doesn't trust him that much. He is stuck in a system that is more reliant on a center forward, a mobile striker, rather than a someone of a structure of Skamaka who just enters into the box with one and only objective, that is to score the goal. And if my words are not enough, you can even see how West Ham plays with Antonio. Antonio drops deep, helping out the midfielders. He's on the wing sometimes. He's everywhere. And this, if this is how West Ham wants to play, then I don't think so. Skamaka was a very prudent, I should use the word, I don't know, but it was not a very good signing. Especially, I think Danny Ings was playing for West Ham.
He's
Yeah,
joined
he
West
was.
Ham. He's joined this winter window.
January.
Yeah, so like two kind of strikers you have bought, one in summer and one in winter. Both have, just doesn't fit into how you play. And if you need although he's whatever he's doing in Chelsea, whatever has happened with Atletico, how people feel about him. But I have seen Felix play for Benfica. You just need someone like a Felix around that West Ham front line just to mobilize the team into one. And because they have such a structural players in the midfield itself, and with a very good tactical player, I never imagined Bowen will turn into. He somehow need they need a striker who is mobile enough, and both of these strikers are just not adequate for the team. The how West Ham plays, and we will look into the summer how they move, because right now they are clueless in the front line.
I think, Ojas bhai, just to sort of step in there, I think I was talking to this about this to with Delvin bhai in the last stream that we did, or the video, that there are some clubs that I think have been buying pretty prolifically in the market, but their results are not to show because of the likes of Brighton, Leicester City, of course, before this season, Brighton, and the top six actually becoming the top six. So they sort of want to break into that top 6, 7, 8 chamber, and we have these Brentfords, the Brightons, the Fulhams of this world coming in. So, like, looking at West Ham, I don't think they would have wanted to continue with this style of football. I think they wanted to kick on. We look at the likes of Paqueta, we look at the likes of Vlasic, Said Benrahma, with the reliability of Declan Rice and Soucek's form being one of the best in terms of being a box-to-box midfielder in Europe. So I think they really wanted, something else. Kurt Zuma, a ball-playing centre-back, So I think they didn't really want to be this team anymore, who is like, again, throw it up into the box and let's see. But again, it's the Premier League. You start off with some intentions of finishing in the top one, and then you are none of the 10. So there you go. So
Uh-huh.
I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Abhijit bhai, my question to you is, so now after the West Ham game, the next game is the Wolves game, and in between this, we will have one full week of rest. The last time that United in this season had a gap of 1 week between two games was way back in October. That means we've gone 6 months playing football non-stop. 3 games a week, 2 games a week, a game every 3 days, a game every 2.5 days. How important it is to win this game so that the players are firstly going in the week with a good frame of mind, and and secondly also uh, that Europa League exit suddenly looks much more crucial and much more rewarding, because had we qualified, now I'm equally disappointed that we weren't able to qualify in the semifinals. Don't get me wrong here, I'm not saying that harsh hum baar ho gaye. No, I am disappointed, of course I am. But had we qualified to the semifinals this week, would be the first leg of the semi-finals, and next week would be the second leg, which means that we would have 2 extra games to play, and we would once again have a game every 3 days. So how important is this rest, and how important? I mean, clearly this is a sign that our players are knackered. They are exhausted. They are tired. These guys need like a whole 24-hour day of sleep. Is if we are talking about rest and rehabilitation, I mean, how crucial is this week for us as far as the rest and rehab and recovery is concerned, Abhijit bhai?
First of all, you said it after October. I was very surprised. I was literally stunned
Yeah, because
because
we started the Carabao Cup third round, and then
yes,
afterwards we had the second highest representation in the World Cup also. So basically, that was almost 8 or 9 of our starting 11 who were in the World Cup and who were playing in the World Cup. And then they come back. Then there are games again every 3 days. There was the FA Cup, then the Europa League, then again the Carabao Cup final all the way. So yeah, October was the last time where there was 1 week between the 2 games, and that was also because there was a blank week or something like that. I'm not sure.
yes.
So yeah, what is your
Uh,
thoughts?
yes, as you said that it is a very big boost because uh, I would say it is a very big advantage for our backline because our backline has been, we don't have a backup other than Maguire, I would say. So it's a very good, rest for Lindelof and Shaw. We are actually rotating the fullbacks because uh, the way fullbacks we are playing, Shaw taking that center position, and even I want to add something that Antriksh said that Dalot was good because he was, but he was little sloppy in Brighton's game. So I thought, in my opinion, he was very sloppy, and he was missing the markers so much in that game. So and also I think Ten Hag believes in that there should be a game time given to them and manage it. And Dalot needs some rest too, actually. And AWB is a good in one-on-one situation. So it's a definitely a good week for us to take the rest. Even Casemiro needs some rest because he is sometimes good, sometimes bad. But looking at Casemiro giving us some rest, he can really put up forward. Uh, Even for Rashford, I would say it's a very good a rest for a week because it will give him some time to recover
पूरा
because we
एक एक
have
नाम लेके एक एक नाम लेके पूरा टीम बोलता है, अभिजीत भाई हमको चलेगा.
no no, these are the players who are playing very relentlessly. So
Yes, yes,
we
exactly. Understood, understood,
yes,
understood.
that's why I took that name specifically for this what the question for you, what you asked for me. So these are the players. Even David David will also have some rest for us. I hope.
Rest from rest from criticism, if you're saying, then yes,
Yes,
he will.
yes, he will.
Because he is not
Yes,
being called upon to do much throughout the course of the game. He's getting the saves done, but
yes,
again, speaking about De Gea, Antriksh, Ojas, and Avijit. So what happened exactly is, once again, his distribution in the second half came into the spotlight, especially at a time where we did need to control the game. He went. There was a video which was making the rounds on Twitter, I guess, or on Instagram. I'm not sure, where there were instances that they were pinpointed, and at those points where we needed the ball at our feet, De Gea went on punting those balls, and that was an indirect reason why Brighton got a foothold in the game that they did in the last 20-25 minutes or so. So again, in a game where the opposing side tends to play on a much more physical level, and obviously they will, they do have the physicality. The West Ham side is out. Rice, Suchek, Antonio, Benrahma, Bowen, then Aguerd, uh, I think Cresswell, if I'm not mistaken. It's more or less their strongest 11. And they do have a lot of talent on the bench as well. They have Lanzini, then they have Emerson also. They have quite a few players who can give trouble to us from the bench as well. Oh yeah, they have Maxwell
That
Cornet.
midfield, yeah.
Yeah, Suchek, Rice, and Suchek
Paqueta,
Rice,
Vlasic,
Paqueta.
Vandamme,
Yes, exactly. That's.
Lanzini. Fucking hell, right?
Do you actually? Let's talk about West Ham. Do you actually believe Moyes is the right manager for this team, which is borderline stacked with talent, and which is borderline stacked with not only just talent, they can wreck any opposition on their day if the handbrakes on them are let go of. They have the talent. So, do you guys, all of you guys, actually think that is Moyes actually the right manager to lead West Ham forward from here on?
Hi Moyes, if I step in, like people like Moyes, I don't know how to judge them. Matlab, ek to they've been in the game for so long. They've
Exactly.
done so much for so many different clubs at different stages. I mean, at Everton, he was considered one of the best, in the kingdom, if I should say, including Scotland. So in the kingdom, he was one of the best. Then came United. Then
West Ham, Sunderland. Then he went. He had a coaching gig in Spain also for Real Sociedad.
yeah, Sunderland and that Sociedad absolutely fucked his reputation. Then he came back to West Ham, did some good. Then
He was
brink of
sacked from West
relegation.
Ham once also.
Brink of
Yeah.
relegation. Yeah, I guess they appointed Big Sam. I guess if I'm not sure, to sort of save them or something. I'm not sure. Maybe they did appoint some manager and then and got saved. And then he is back at West Ham. Europa Conference, did well in the conference. Then, as I said,
They are in the semis. They are in the
yeah,
semis.
exactly. So like, see, so like there, and then they wanted to kick on, and then again Moyes falls. I had sort of similar. I know this is way off topic, but like Ancelotti, he was at Everton and like one of the best man here and there. He literally just fucked them. He said, "Okay, I'm off to Real Madrid," and then killing it with Madrid. So like managers like Moyes, and they've just been in the game so long that you really don't know. It's like a cycle for them. Jab tak chal rahe hai, chalne do. As soon as they start fucking up, you anyways can't recognize a style of football with these guys.
Antriksh bhai, you cannot compare Ancelotti and
Of
Moyes.
course.
Ancelotti
No.
has won. Yeah, Ancelotti
I
has
know,
won
man.
a lot.
Of course, and no, I would.
Ojas by got triggered by the very mention of Ancelotti and Moyes in the same sentence. Ojas by like, भाई ये क्या सुन लिया मैंने?
खुद को कहाँ से किक करते हैं यार? खुद को कहाँ से किक करते हैं?
I get where this is going, but what I personally feel is that sometimes you need that kind of manager that brings best of the player on crucial games, because West Ham are playing decently, but if you mess it around like we do in the crucial moments of the game, you're eventually sitting on the bottom of the table. And with the quality that rest of the teams are putting into the transfer budget and the players that they're signing, just look at the teams above them. Very hard for West Ham to catch in if either you change the person or either you change like how he thinks. He has to revolutionize.
Something has to change. Something has to
Something
change.
has to
But
change.
again, I don't
because,
think Brentford ka squad is anywhere near the quality of West Ham
no,
ka squad.
Yes,
about
but
investing.
it's again the manager. So my outlook is very simple. You took Ancelotti and Moyes. In teams like Real Madrid, pragmatism is required from a managerial standpoint. So Ancelotti's approach works perfectly because that side is volatile in the sense that there is a lot of unpredictability. All these guys were unpolished, raw, technically brilliant players, but they needed someone like a father figure. In a team like West Ham, where they have to take steps in their transformation to a proper football club, you cannot have a pragmatic manager. The game has evolved to such an extent where only big teams have the luxury of pragmatism if they choose to take that. If you do not, teams like West Ham, teams like Brighton, teams like Brentford, teams like let's take Burnley for example. These teams do not have neither the luxury of being pragmatic. They have to play the way the game is being played in the rest of the teams who are in their league. And if they want to get above that quagmire, pragmatism is not an option. So for me, in that regard, with all due respect to Moyes, to what he's done to English football, British football, football at Everton, so on and so forth, I've been an advocate for the past season or so, and this season in particular, that I don't think he's the right man for the West Ham job, because you cannot be shit on a consistent basis in the Premier League in spite of the fact that you're doing well in the Conference League. What is the point of having potentially winning the Conference League but losing and getting relegated from the Premier League? This Premier League is obviously the bigger fish to fry here. That's the natural huh?
If they win the Conference League, they'll play the Europa League if they get
Yes,
relegated.
conference. The Premier League standings have nothing to do with continental competitions. You win the trophy, you automatically get qualified for Europa. It's nothing much.
Revenues change, and West Ham are in dire need of certain revenue upliftment in their banks. And what actually is happening, if I give a very solid example, if I not a direct comparison, but look at Mourinho with Roma, and it's something you need a manager of a mentality that just wants to win at whatever cost in this West Ham side. As soon as they start winning, West Ham will be like very hard to stop. They if I never thought Newcastle would reach that far, irrespective of the money that they are getting because of the manager that they have. I don't trust Eddie Howe. I don't consider him to be a top manager, but he has proven me wrong, along with other people on the social media. And if you get a right person to handle West Ham, or either you trust Moyes again and put the investments, just believing that he will turn around the tables next season. But what if it gets worse, even worse, before it eventually gets better? And I'm pretty sure it's the talk of the town also. Declan Rice is going to put a transfer request on May end. He is putting the transfer request. West Ham have already started the valuation of the player. So, like a big player leaving also next season.
Abhijit, what are your thoughts on the situation?
You see, it will be an unpopular opinion for me, for you, if I say this.
No.
No, I'm just saying that. See, Carrick can be a very good manager in West Ham. He
Oh
can
yeah,
bring.
that's not an unpopular opinion. That's an actually pretty interesting take. That's actually a pretty interesting take.
मुश्किल से CL आ रहे हैं, अब आप वो भी मुश्किल कर दो, और वो वहां पे वैसे ही मचा रहे हैं.
No,
अब ये
no,
कैरिक भी इन्हें दे दो वेस्ट हैम को, सारे ले आओ बढ़िया मैनेजर्स लीग में, हम यूनाइटेड वाले बैठ जाते हैं यू.
Yes, see, if you think in a football perspective, why I say that, because he can bring the best out of any player. The 3 games and even the Middlesbrough game, I've seen I think 3-4 games of Middlesbrough, and he is literally bring something to the players. मतलब वो एंसेलोटी का कैसा होता है, नहीं रॉड्रिगो को डाल देता है, वो गोल ही मार देता है, या फिर मॉड्रिच, he changes the perspective of a player. He is some kind of a player like some kind of a manager.
There is a player called Cameron Archer in Middlesbrough who came on loan in January. He's been on a tear ever since, and Michael Carrick solely uses him as an impact player. And good lord, the impact that he's had is safe to say. I mean, it's very interesting. Like Avijit Bhai says, Carrick to West Ham. I would want Middlesbrough to get promoted in the Premier League. Let him manage Borough in the Prem for one season. Let's see how he does, and then we come to a conclusion or a consensus whether.
Let's see how Ten Hag is doing, and then let's act accordingly.
No, even Thomas Frank can be a good manager for West Ham.
But Thomas Frank is a great manager for Brentford. I don't see him leave. I don't see him leaving.
No, because
Brentford, Thomas Frank has his own Chota Denmark at Brentford. That's all Denmark. He's not getting that at West Ham.
Like Nuno had
Portugal
in Wolves. Yeah. See. All jokes aside, Carrick is doing very well, but West Ham. I know you all also guys are fully aware of the structure that West Ham have. They are pretty rich now. They have a very good system in place. They have a huge stadium, and just something like a star signing. They need a star signing of a manager to bring the image at the level of what we are expecting. Newcastle defeated us 2 times in one of the seasons. I remember a few seasons ago. They bring someone good.
No, Newcastle have never done the double over us. No. No,
It
they've not. No,
Longstaff brothers.
we won the reverse fixture, but they've never done the double over us.
Yeah, actually,
No.
what then happened is we lost to West Ham and Newcastle on the go. I remember that season
Ha.
specifically,
But
and
Newcastle have never done the double over
yeah,
United.
I must have got that wrong. But just look where Newcastle are right now and where West Ham have fallen into. Both were having good potentials of reaching into top half of the table, and West Ham just really need the right person at the top, and things will change around pretty quickly in this club.
Just
The issue with with that, like, not exactly that, with sort of that idea is, ठीक है, मतलब they'll have a good time, but नीचे कौन जाएगा? Brighton are gonna have a good time. Top six तो top six है. Brentford maybe are
अंतरिक्ष
gonna.
भाई, जब कहीं ऊपर जाता है तो कोई नीचे जा ही रहा होता है। जब कोई ऊपर जाएगा तो कोई नीचे जाएगा ही। आप देखो साउथहैम्पटन का हाल देखो। This is the same Southampton that has produced Luke Shaw and enough talent for the league to flourish for next few years.
Luke Shaw, Dejan Lovren, Adam Lallana, then Sadio Mane.
Yeah, of course. Morgan Schneiderlin.
Oh yes, Morgan Schneiderlin also. Yes.
Generated 70 million worth of transfer fees for clubs all across England.
Walcott, Bale, Gareth Bale. Of course. So these guys.
But I think ये जरूर हो गया है कि the Premier League has become much more cutthroat. So like एक window wherein they fucked up their system, wherein they sold their players, Southampton, and heavily, like, blindedly invested in youth and Man City youth to be particular, and they got punished for that. Secondly, with the same thing, Leicester City एक दो बार बोला पैसा नहीं है, gone. The same way Burnley, when they had the change of these ownership wala thing around January, दो window बोला पैसे नहीं है, खत्म. So like the Premier League is यही हो गया.
Bournemouth have benefited from new ownership. Who knew? Yeah. Michael B. Jordan would have maybe he was constantly putting in Creed 3 in their dressing room, making them watch it, getting motivated and all that jazz. So I think it's final whistle at St. James's. Arsenal win 2-0. So that means Newcastle stay where they are, 2 points ahead of us, I guess. 2 points, right? If I'm not mistaken, they're 2 points ahead of us. Yeah, 2 points ahead of us. So that means the situation becomes very clear for us now. We win, we go ahead. We draw, we stay where we are. We lose, we stay where we are. So it is very important for us to win no matter what. Whether, I don't care how we score the goal, whether it goes off someone's tip of the dick or anything, as long as the ball is in the back of the net, it is in the back of the net. And I know this is like playing a broken record again and again, but Abhijit bhai, how important it is to take our chances. I'm sorry to ask this question again and again, but this is the question. How important it is to take our chances whenever we create them, especially because this is an away game also.
अभिजीत भाई, आरसीबी ट्रॉफी कब जीतेगी आरसीबी ट्रॉफी?
इस साल 100%. It's unpopular opinion, but it can be.
This is unpopular opinion. Yes, this is. But the previous one was awesome. Yeah, so my question
same with the relation with the chances that Manchester United are not converting because they are producing so many.
Yeah.
Yes, the chances are really important for you because it can change the momentum for you. You look the present example of Newcastle and Arsenal. They missed the chance and they Arsenal took the chance and they scored, and the momentum really changed drastically. I was watching the game for first 25 to 30 minutes, and I was thinking it was they were making the atmosphere like Anfield, but the way they absorbed the pressure, they took the chance. This is the this is the moments, or this is the time you have to utilize and you have to score. If Anthony had scored in that Brighton games, then we do
right at the first minute, man. Right at the first minute only. So
that is the moment for us to to be in the driving seat. So
another instance was today's game against Arsenal also. Newcastle had a chance within the first 90 seconds. They hit the post. So that is how important create scoring your chances are. Arsenal literally scored their goal. Their first goal was their first shot on target. So basically, they took the chance that they had, and then they never looked back from there. In the second half, it was an even game. What happened?
You have to be very clinical in this matter
Exactly.
actually. Yes.
Especially when it is an away game. Because I
Yes.
and Antariksh have had this conversation for two streams straight.
Yes.
That we can create as many chances as home and manage to get away with it, but this is something we cannot manage to get away from when we are not playing at Old Trafford, and that is more often than not being the cause of concern.
No,
With that being said, yeah, go on, go on, go on.
even if you see, you have uh, Rashford and Anthony has to be very clinical, because if Vegas tries to make you spaces. Even if you have seen the games where Vegas was very impactful, because he created spaces. He actually pushed the defense lines to to certain spaces where there was space created, and in that space created, Rashford utilized it and pass it through Anthony, or even for Sancho in the purpose. So you have to utilize, because Vegas does that, and he even links up. Even a slightest touch, he can provide some chances to create, and you have to be very clinical. And this is the moment in the season for us, that we have didn't take the chances. Otherwise we are on the top of the game actually. So you have to be very very clinical in this game. These are the last moments of the business end of a Premier League, and you if you don't utilize, then you are letting yourself down.
Abhijit Bhai is very close to losing his cool, and I'm pretty sure Abhijit Bhai would have given a bad word at the end of the
Yes.
statement. He got a hold of himself at the last moment and got kept his cool, but
Yeah,
so
this was one of the quotes by Zidane also a couple of seasons ago. He said, "My team doesn't have anything to play for," and when usually this happens, anything to play for, he meant for the title, because there was a lot of gap between Barcelona and Madrid, like in this season. When we don't have, suddenly we drop a form in the league. Madrid drew their two games and lost in one, if I am not wrong, in past couple of weeks. So it happens when you have nothing to fight for. You lost pretty badly in Europa, and people don't agree to this, that it's not a 1 week hangover for players getting out of a trophy competition. It takes quite a time, and if my memory serves right, like Delvin also corrected me last time, Maguire was pretty doing pretty well when we reached the Europa final, and suddenly the impact of not converting it to the trophy, not getting the results in our bag, and this eventually pays off to the player, and it can be a big burden. And that is why I think people, whoever are trolling us, whoever is saying things that we have not won, we have only won the Carabao Cup, but it thank God we won something, because the way we were playing, we deserve a trophy. We deserved all the three that we were in, but thank God we have a trophy to show off, and we have got another chance in the final on in June.
all in all, I don't think it's a bad season, because making a final, making two finals, to be really honest, two finals, a quarterfinals, uh, a seemingly secure top four spot. I say seemingly because still season isn't over yet, so anything can happen. But a seemingly secure top four spot. I think we expected worst we expected worse in this season, and anything for us above a top six finish initially was the consensus as a good season for all the writers who were associated with United, and the fact that we have overdone what was expected of us, I think that's a brilliant season, and we should have every reason as fans to hold our head high, and be proud of what we have done. All the job's not finished yet. To quote Kobe Bryant, job's not finished. We still have games to play. We still have a final to play and a final to win. And yeah, I'm sorry I made that expression, guys, because there is a huge
I have one
anticlimax.
question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want to ask a question, both of you, Antrix and Delvin, even for Ojas Bhai. Is it a good option to buy Paqueta in Manchester United system? How will he
Would
be?
I'd rather have a combative presence like a Guimaraes or a Joe Linton if I had to.
Okay.
Antriksh, can you hear us?
I can, yeah,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course. Yeah,
Uh,
Yeah,
so for me,
not the packet. Sorry,
no,
yeah, I thought
no,
you were finished.
no. I think if you're looking for a Brazilian, I'd rather have Bruno G or Joe Linton in that same mold. They all three of them would be an update on Fred. All three of them would be a massive upgrade on Fred. But if you want someone who I'd go for Guimaraes, but I don't think Guimaraes also will go anywhere. But if you had to, Paqueta, not exactly. He's not the most vociferous presser. Doesn't press a lot. He's a pretty free roaming player. We already have Bruno. We cannot have two free roaming players. We are not yet evolved in that high up our football chain to have two free roaming players and leave that midfield wide open. We're still away off. We're still some way off of that. So to your question, Avijit Bhai, I don't think so. But great player, great player.
Yeah, he
Paqueta.
won't also come for a backup. He doesn't want to come for a backup. He will.
Oh my days. Oh my days. How have Rajasthan lost this? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. How have they lost
Yeah,
this? I'm so sorry.
actually, I'm not. I have lost it. But yes,
Yeah.
coming back to the more important things right now. See,
Yes.
Paqueta doesn't want to come for a backup. Bruno usually never rests, and Ericsson is a kind of player that is slower than Bruno, but somehow can they both can rotate around each other. You need again. I put the same point in every stream. You need a De Hong. I don't know how you get it. Either you produce him, either you clone him, or whatever you do. You just need that kind of the player who is a bridge between the defensive side of the midfield and the attacking side of the midfield. He just completes the midfield. The puzzle is that we don't have a center mid who can also help Casemiro when he's he usually gets lost in the middle of the game, and also helps in Bruno in creating the chances in the final third. And this was a player I was always looked up to, not looked up to. I always saw in when Goretzka was playing for Schalke, and he was meant to go to Bayern because that's how transfers are done in Bundesliga. Uh, but it's but it's something. It's kind of a player that I was looking for, and I just believe we get a player like that, and this is how the midfield gets completed for Manchester United.
Yeah, I think we need someone, who where Casemiro is. I think someone like a Manuel Ugarte, for example. A lot of people don't know who he is, but he's been a pretty good player. He's been doing a great job for Sporting Lisbon, I guess. I'm not sure. Yeah, Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, he was one of the star performers for them against Arsenal in both the legs. So yeah, he's a good addition. But yeah, so I think we've covered everything there is to cover about the game. We've spoken in detail. We've spoken in depth. And with that being said, Antriksh, I think it's almost only 20 minutes left for kickoff. The expectations are high. Are you nervous or are you fairly confident about our chances?
right as I said, I am fairly confident, and I had a live. I did a live with our page, and I kept repeating the statement that we're bounce back FC, and it this
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be
We spoke
this
about this in our video as well. Yeah,
exactly.
we did
This
exactly.
would be the 18th successful bounce back for us this time, and I'm pretty that sort of fills me with confidence because we have this, every now and then, as a teenager and someone who's about to complete college, I have these spurts of motivations that last for 6 hours, wherein I want to do exactly as Instagram tells me from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. And that's how United players are. They go in, they're on a high, they get her, and then we bounce back. And then we sort of stagnate, go down, bounce back. So all in all, we're like the share price of ITC, which is consistent for the past, I don't know how many years. So that's how I sum it up. But yes, for today's isolated game, I'm pretty confident and in fact, I'm confident about a good performance along with a good result.
That's one way to look at it, and that's a pretty good way to look at it if we are indeed looking at it in that perspective. So Yeah, gentlemen, it's time for predictions. Osis, bhai, I'll start with you. What are your predictions to the game? Do you see us
Yeah,
winning or do you see us drawing? I don't think we are losing this game. I'm pretty certain we'll not lose this game. So, do you see us winning the game or do you see us drawing this game?
yeah. I think 2-0 win or a 2-1 win will be sufficient right now because we are absolutely nowhere close to the way that we want to play. And if somehow we get a result next week, you can expect a hammering from our side. Right now, it's the survival, and survival for Manchester United is getting a result. And
Wow. So,
this
survival and United in the same sentence. We've had Ancelotti and Moyes in the same sentence.
no
What is
survival.
happening today?
Survival, I didn't mean in a
I'm just
relegated
I'm
or
just
whatever.
joking. I'm just
Yeah,
joking. It's fine.
it's something survival of the potential that we have brought in this season. If it's something that we deserve to be somewhere and we should be there, and it can only happen that you somehow manage a result tonight and you just get that win anyhow. You will see again lot of chances being missed this game, but get we should expect a win today.
Yeah, Abhijit, by your predictions for the game, what do you think? What do you think?
Straight win 2-0.
Damn, straight win. संपला विषय और कुछ चाहिए ही नहीं. Just win. Antarish, what is your prediction for the game? What do you think?
Yeah, I tried to go even straighter, 3-0.
Oh, nice. Nice,
I,
nice, nice, nice.
as I said, I expect it to be a good performance. I expect us to relatively take our chances, and I have this tingling sensation of a Weghorst goal. I was tempted to say a brace, but I don't have the balls for that.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not.
So that's where I sort of pull out and say a goal it is. Any part of the body, a goal it is.
It's fine. Yeah. For me,
I see
I'll
Vegas
go with
assist. I see
I'll go
Vegas
with
assist.
I'll go with Abhijit. For me, it's a 2-0 win for me as well, and I think the position should be pretty convincing. And yeah, hopefully, let's see how it pans out for us in that sense. So, with that being said, thank you so much for everyone joining in. Guys, please do subscribe to our channel. We are close to achieving a milestone of 2,500 subscribers on YouTube, and to reach that landmark, we need your help. So please go ahead, smash that like button. Do subscribe to our channel. We keep on coming out with content on a regular basis. Do subscribe and do share this video to as many United fans as possible and to as many like-minded football fans as possible. Go ahead and press the bell icon so that you're notified for every video that we pull out on this channel. Apart from that, we are perpetually active on our socials, on Instagram and on Twitter. Do go ahead and give us a follow there as well. Apart from that, I say this on every stream, every day is match day on our official WhatsApp group. Do go ahead and join us there. It's a big family. We have always room for more, and we'll be more than happy to have you on board. With that being said, thank you to each and everyone in the comments and the chat as well for letting us know what you feel about this game, and we hope that you keep joining us on our streams in large numbers on a regular basis. With that being said, this is Delvin along with Abhijit and Ojas wishing each one of you good night. All the best for the game, gentlemen. We are 15 minutes away from kickoff. Hopefully, it's a positive result, and we hopefully come across on the next stream with smiles on our faces and celebration about the fact that we've taken 3 points and third place. So that's all from us. We'll see you all soon. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. GGMU to all, guys.
GG.